Hi, my name is Wendy Chadwick, and I'd like to talk to you about the introduction of irregular words. The first and most important thing is most of the English language is logical and predictable. Only about 13% of words are in our language are irregular, and it's usually vowels or vowel teams and also a silent consonant. For instance, like bee and comb. So when we're introducing an irregular word, we've got 9 steps with that. And the first thing you want to do is write the words for students. So if I was writing the word said, for instance, I would write my said, and then we'd analyze it as if the kid was reading it for themselves. And this is really for kindergarten all the way up through high school. It can be a 3-syllable word, it could be a shorter word, whatever kind of word. It's analyzing what we're reading. So we would look at the rules of English and we say, oh, this is a 2-letter phonogram. It's a 2-letter A that we do not use at the end of English words. So we know this would usually say A. The S is not at the end of a word. It's not at the end of a base word. So we know that most likely makes its first and normal sound S. Then we've got D, that pretty much always says D unless it's silent. So we would pronounce it S-A-D, said. Also, what syllable type is this word? That's right, it's a vowel team syllable type. Then I would erase it, and I would say this is actually how we pronounce it. S-E-D. We've got the sound for that. And I do teach even kindergartners the pronunciation, and you can find those in any of the dictionary online websites. So I would pronounce it said. Then we'd look back at the original word, and I would say, what is unusual about this? What should we really examine here? Said. Then I would circle it. Oh, sorry, I had to get a different color. Then I would circle it, the part that's unusual like that. And it's really important to show them that, and then show them the pronunciation like that. Then what I do is write it out on a little index card, and I put them together like this. And this is for the students themselves. So let's see, I have just regular words, and here's my example of said. In this situation, I happen to have a red marker. So then we would look at this side, said. Then on the other side, I wrote how it's pronounced, said. And then the student can look back and forth 4 or 5 times saying said, 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 said. And that helps their brains really, for it to really stick in their brains to remember why it's something a little bit different. The next important part about teaching irregular words is to teach them why. Kids who struggle with spelling, it's not enough just to say that's how it is. It's really important to explain why. And you can look that up on Etymology Online and also different search sites like that. But with Etymology Online, let's go back to said. I would explain this is an old English word. And the base word, it also didn't sound like this. When we look at the first part, said is past tense. And so what's the present tense of said? Say, good. So we use our A, 2-letter A, that we do not use at the end of English words. So said, said is how we would pronounce it. So I'd say this is a think to spell word. Said is how we would pronounce it. That the past tense ending, say, is ed, the past tense ending ed. And we would think about what do we know in the English language when we have a Y and we need to put this ed ending, then we would get rid of the y, and then plus we can't use it if it's not at the end of English words. So S-A-I-E-D, okay. Said, again, said. So over time, just saying the word, said, it just changed most likely just over time from use. And that's, sometimes we just don't know every single reason why, but it's okay to say we don't know the exact reason why. On your teacher resource sheet, I have a link to Gina Cook is a linguist, and she's got a video on YouTube that really enlightens about how important the language of origin is. Another resource that, again, you might want to look at is Etymology Online, E-T-Y-M Online. That's super helpful if you're teaching middle school or high school. It's also helpful for them to look up their own words. Obviously, it's more meaningful if they do it themselves instead of us just telling them. Oftentimes a pattern could be that you introduce those words on Monday and then the kids have time to look it up. The same thing can be said when you're teaching this remotely as well. And having them do it's really important, and to make their own flashcards like that with the little binder to have the pronunciation on the back.